One of the loneliest places you'll ever stand is inside a relationship the whole world thinks you should leave. See, eventually every couple reaches a moment where they must decide whose voice matters most, the world's or each other's. Today's story belongs to Justin and Hailey Bieber, but I need to warn you before we begin. By the time we reach the final chapter, you're going to realize this was never really about them. It is about a question every relationship eventually forces you to answer, and most people answer it wrong. Stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to protect what's yours from a world that was never invited inside. There's something strange about modern relationships. Millions of strangers who've never eaten at your dinner table, who've never seen you cry at 2 a.m., never watched you choose each other on a hard day, will confidently tell you whether your relationship or marriage is healthy, whether your husband loves you, whether your wife deserves better, whether you're going to get divorced. With absolute certainty, they talk about a life they've never lived. Can I ask you something honest? How many important decisions in your life were quietly shaped by people who didn't have to live with the consequences? Because sometimes the loudest voices in the room are the least qualified to speak. Now let's talk about Justin and Hailey. Justin and Hailey didn't just get married. They got married under a microscope so powerful that the whole world had an opinion before the ink on the certificate was dry. For years, Hailey was compared to Selena Gomez. Every photograph became evidence. Every interview became a trial. Every Instagram post became ammunition for a verdict that millions of strangers had already decided. People who had never met Hailey decided they knew her heart. People who had never spoken to Justin decided they knew what he needed. Imagine trying to build a marriage while the world keeps voting against it. There's a quote that says, "A relationship cannot survive if it is built on public approval." Fortunately, it was never supposed to be. See, one of adulthood's hardest and most liberating lessons is realizing that your life belongs to you, not your parents, not your closest friends, not the comment section, not the millions of people who have formed a detailed opinion about a relationship they've only ever watched through a screen. You can receive advice. You should. Sometimes it actually saves you. But eventually, every adult must make one terrifying decision. Who gets the final vote? Here's something that a 40-year-old usually understands that 20-year-olds are still learning. And honestly, I wish someone had said it to me earlier. Approval is addictive. Peace is earned. And you cannot have both at the same time. At some point, you have to choose whose opinion in your life you're actually going to live by. Justin and Hailey chose each other. Quietly, consistently, under relentless pressure. They didn't post rebuttals. They didn't explain themselves to the internet. They built a life. They welcomed their son into the world, not as proof that they're perfect, but as evidence that marriages are measured over years, not headlines, not comment sections, not viral moments that lasted 48 hours before the world moved on to someone else's pain. Remember this quote: longevity doesn't prove perfection, it proves commitment. And commitment is the only audience that matters. Here's something that I want us to talk about. You cannot heal someone, but you can walk beside them. This chapter, I think, is the real heart of this story. You see, Justin Bieber has spoken publicly about the weight of childhood fame, about mental health struggles that arrived before he had the tools to handle them, about periods of substance misuse that he has never hidden from or minimized. He's also spoken about therapy, about faith, about taking responsibility for his own recovery, about doing the work, the real, unglamorous daily work of becoming a healthier person. And that last part matters enormously because healing isn't something another person does for us. It's something we choose while someone else walks beside us. So, if you've ever loved someone who was carrying more than you could see, this chapter is specifically for you. Because there's a distinction that most people who love hurting people never learn until they're completely exhausted. Supporting someone doesn't mean carrying them. It means refusing to let them carry everything alone. Those are two entirely different things. One destroys you, the other sustains you both. Hailey didn't cure Justin. She couldn't. No wife can. No husband can. No parent can. No child, no best friend can. The work of healing always, always belongs to the person carrying the wound. But here's what a good partner can do. They can create an environment where healing becomes possible. They can be consistent when the person they love is struggling to be. They can stay in the room when leaving would be easier. Not as a martyr, not as a savior, but as someone who made a choice and keeps making it on the ordinary days when no one's watching. There's actually a quote that says, "The strongest partners don't become each other's therapists. They become each other's safest place." And that is the whole job. Now, I want to address something directly because it would be dishonest not to. We've all seen the photographs, the short video clips, the moments captured mid-sentence, mid-argument, mid-something where we were never meant to witness. And some people looked at those moments, those 30-second fragments of a 5-year marriage, and decided they understood everything. But here's the danger of building conclusions from headlines. A 30-second clip cannot explain a 5-year marriage. It cannot show you what happened in the car before the cameras appeared, or the conversation that followed after they walked through the door, or the repair that happened quietly, privately, between two people who owed the world no explanation. Here's a question I want every couple watching to sit with. Do you want to be understood or simply defended? Because those are different things. Being understood requires vulnerability. Being defended just requires an audience. Healthy couples don't spend their energy proving strangers wrong. They spend their energy understanding each other. And that is a full-time job that leaves very little room for caring what anyone else thinks. Could Justin have spoken sharply in difficult moments? Perhaps. Could there have been hard days? Almost certainly. Every marriage has them. Every single one. There's a difference between marriages that survive and marriages that don't. It isn't the absence of hard moments. It's what two people do with them when they're alone and no one is filming. The internet judges moments. Marriage is built in the ones no one ever sees. Perhaps that's why this story matters. Not because Justin and Hailey proved the world wrong. Not because their marriage is perfect. No marriage really is. But because they remind us of something we keep forgetting in the age of public opinion. The people inside the relationship are the only ones who have to wake up beside each other every morning. Not the internet, not the comment section, not the millions of people who formed a detailed verdict from a 30-second clip and moved on before the week was out. Just two people trying, failing sometimes, repairing, growing, choosing each other again. Think about the strongest couple you've ever known. The ones who made it look quiet, made it look steady, made it look from the outside almost boring in its consistency. I wonder how many battles they fought that nobody else ever saw. How many times they chose each other in rooms the world was never invited to. Maybe that's the secret that no headline will ever capture. Great relationships aren't built because nothing goes wrong. They're built because two people decide, quietly, repeatedly, without an applause. Not every hard season deserves a goodbye.